Welcome to LC Screen Talk. My name is Larry, and this is my review of Downton Abbey. Downton Abbey picks up right where the show left off, following all of the show's favorite characters as they prepare for the King and Queen of England to arrive. So I have never seen even an episode of Downton Abbey. This review is coming from a complete novice to the series. I basically just know that Maggie Smith is awesome, which everybody knows, and is a complete savage in the show. And honestly, that's enough for me to want to see this film. But I actually thought the trailers looked quite endearing, even being someone who hadn't watched the show previously. And I'm always in for a good period piece, honestly. So I decided, you know what, even if you haven't seen any of it, it's a valuable way to review a film, being someone who is fresh to the franchise. Someone who is coming in without the coloring of the series and giving my viewpoint from that vantage. And I have to say, I actually quite enjoyed the film. I know, I am a little bit shocked myself. So let's go ahead and talk about the positives first. Well, the movie is quite beautiful. In particular, the shots of the Abbey itself are stunning. Like, really, really beautiful. Plus, the musical composition I thought was really nice. Sometimes it fell into, like, TV type of music, little da-da-da-da, little things. But for the most part, the main theme is gorgeous. But I thought the music enhanced everything, honestly. And it definitely felt grand. Everything felt elevated and grand. The big sweeping camera shots and the beautiful direction. Honestly, the costumes were absolutely stunning. The sets were absolutely stunning. From a visual standpoint, the film is gorgeous, just as any quality period piece ought to be. And the film is fun. I actually thought our main story of all of these workers and this family setting up to host royalty set for a really nice, fun plotline that worked really well for me. I mentioned her before, but Dame Maggie Smith is wonderful and pretty much steals every single scene she's in. But at large, the film is actually quite funny. Our service staff, the house staff, is all really fun and funny. I enjoyed all of their antics. While the cast itself is not diverse at all, we did get a nice array of diverse types of storylines that were being depicted, which I also enjoyed. But everything did still center around the king and queen coming to the Abbey, and that served as a really nice anchor for everything else that happens in the film. But this film is a little bit over 2 hours, and I was entertained pretty much from start to finish. I thought it was just a good, fun time. This actually works pretty well as a self-contained film. Of course, there are relationships and past and drama that I have no idea of amongst these characters. However, with that storyline I've been talking of, the premise of hosting the king and queen and this house and family having to prepare for that, it set up a nice starting point and a nice ending point for the feature film. It wasn't necessary for you to know all of the background. They set every character up as deep as need be. So as a novice, you won't be all that confused. In saying that, of course, your experience is going to be highly, highly enriched because you will have known these characters, you will know their past, you will know their relationships to one another and to the Abbey itself, and that will add many, many, many more layers than what I received. But to all of my fellow Abbey novices, don't fret. If you go with a friend who loved the show, you will be able to catch on and still have a good time with this movie. So then what doesn't work quite so well when it comes to Downton Abbey? Well, my biggest problem actually is there are too many storylines. And that comes down to a little bit of a problem with the film as a whole. While I do very much think this is a solid, standalone film, you can definitely tell it is derived from television. What I mean by that is we just have so many characters in this movie. There are a ton of characters, and we bounce back and forth between all of the different storylines, much like you're able to do more effortlessly in a television series. It felt episodic as we played through the script, and there are too many storylines. It's just kind of plain and simple. For me, this story was far and away the most interesting when we were focused in on setting up for the king and queen and everything to do with their visit directly. I'm sure fans will get quite a bit more out of the side stories, I'm sure, but there were just too many. We have several relationships starting, we have mending of other relationships, we have hijinks, we have the main plot line, we have marital issues, we have this, we have that. Every character had a plot line or two plot lines or even three plot lines throughout the film, and after a while it just was a bit much. And the episodic nature definitely makes you feel like you're watching 2 hours of TV. Now, as I said before, particularly the direction elevates the material and the grand cinematography elevates the material. But I think we drag a little bit through the middle portion of the film. We start to lose a little bit of steam, particularly as we get past this kind of like dueling conflict surrounding the staves at play here. It really starts to slow down. And that's right around like the turn of the third act, where it's kind of like, okay, we're working our way toward an ending. We're working our way toward an ending. And it just feels like it takes a long time. Again, because there's a lot of stories to wrap up. Most of them get a pretty bow type of ending, but we're still left with other stories that aren't fully developed and concluded. I also found some of the messaging to be a little bit dodgy. So obviously, I'm not sure if this was prevalent in the series. I imagine it might be. However, there is some messaging around like personal happiness versus duty, and then the whole monarchy and the royals and all that fun jazz near the end that I thought was a little bit, it felt a little bit icky to me. With one character in particular, it really kind of got icky. But yeah, a little bit of weird messaging as we neared the end of the film. But overall, I had fun with Downton Abbey. I thought it was funny, I thought it was beautiful to look at, it was entertaining, and I was able to enjoy myself without the back knowledge of the television series. So if you're a Downton Abbey fan, I think this is a full price ticket. I have a feeling you're going to have a great time getting back together with this cast of characters, with the Abbey itself, and it will just be a really good time at the movies for you. I don't know that I would necessarily seek this out if you're not a Downton Abbey fan. However, if you're a fan of period pieces in general, and somehow didn't catch on to the Downton Abbey train, I still think this is a good matinee. And as I said, if you haven't seen the show, but you get dragged along by a fan of the show, don't worry. There's plenty to enjoy here for you too. So, that is my review of Downton Abbey. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, go ahead, click like down below, and subscribe to the channel so you are always up to date on our latest videos. Also, join in on the discussion. Are you excited to see Downton Abbey? And are you a fan of the show? Either yes or no, let me know what your thoughts are headed into the weekend for the feature-length film. I love you all so much for your continued support. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!